Okay. I think. Yes, I am live. Hello and welcome to the show. If anyone. Hey, Big Cat. Don't. Thanks, Cornbread. Thanks. I did almost forget. And my mic's. Hello? I think. Okay, there we go. Sorry. I'd like to make sure it all works before. But, Cornbread, I appreciate. Hey! Sinram is here. I didn't see you there. Super Dudusky. Chan talks more movies. Cornbread. I think I said hello, but if I didn't, Shello. Sorry. Nathaniel Foga. Ramsey the artist. Javier Portello. I know I saw Austin in there. Feel like Zane Powers is here as well. What up? Damn ads. True. Yes. Hey, are you movie Jesus? I don't know about that. Ramsey the artist. All my buds are here today. Tweet is posted. We can get rid of the... I think Corporate was supposed to send me something on Twitter. I'm confused about what that was. But let's switch to the main camera here. Hello. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. That was peaking. Okay. Zodberg is here. I'm Livestream Jesus. Oh, well, I mean, I got that vibe, I guess. Hello, I hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day. Galentine's Day here happens sometimes. I don't know. I hope you had a good Wednesday. Hope you just had a good Wednesday. I'm not sure why I'm wearing socks and I'm taking them off. Internet Eisenberg, weird with typing. Internet is being weird with typing. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's Madam Web Week. It is. We will talk about that and more. I am full of energy, partly because last week I usually have a coffee when I'm setting up, and I was like, we're out of coffee. Fuck. So I was like, we got to make sure that shit doesn't happen. Anyway, Ace the Wind Rider. Hello, I have energy. I have an energy drink. Can anyone guess it before I reveal it? Because I feel like this is pretty... My dog went for a nice walk. You know what? Congrats to your dog. Sorry. It's in the... What? What is this thing? Today is Thursday. No, I'm saying yesterday. X-Men cartoon, but it's Paul Blart When. Okay, Bloxy got it. I will reveal it. It is... I will look at your thing, but I got to do Bloxy thing. Hold on. First off, I got a heart... It's Zoya. Okay, thank you. It's Zoya. Oh, wait. Where's my... Hold on. We got Zoya here. Bloxy, thank you. Cheers to you. Whoa, cheers to you. Was Bloxy... I would like that kind of image. Who was... I'm sorry. I'm setting up everything. Show it off. You can't see it. Anyway. I just show it off for no one. Let's put this next to this thing. I was going to show this off in a second. Is Bloxy... Someone just had surgery, and I saw that, and I wanted to say... First, congratulations. I hope... I don't know if I'm saying the right... Sorry. The one thing that doesn't work on YouTube, ever since their weird ad thing, is scrolling for me is always like the fucking worst. I don't know why... And it makes me feel like an idiot. Anyway. Who was that? It is Bloxy. Bloxy, I thought it was. I just didn't want to say the wrong thing and feel like an idiot. I want to say, I know you said it in the chat. Hope I'm not adding more information than you wanted out there. But I'm sorry that, I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry about all that. That sounds very stressful. And yeah. And was it Sholo? I'm confused who did. Oh, it wasn't me. It was anyway, everyone went, wow, okay. Shilo, anyway. Shiloh. I hope everything is okay, and I'm glad you were doing well. And Black Sax Winkle, I hope your surgery is good as well. I hope I said all that right. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to check out Cornbread's thing. You put it in a weird place. Where is it? I don't see it. What? Anyway, I'm confused where this is. I think I might have to check it later because this is too much scrolling. Anyway, Shiloh. Congrats on... I hope everything works out for you, Shiloh. I'm trying to think. That Zoya is really... Oh, and the sad thing about Zoya is when I looked in the energy drink section at the... But it's still stressful. I hope Shiloh and Black Seahawks and Winkle, I hope you both have everything goes well and is as less stressful as humanly possible and everything. Anyway. Wait, what about Austin? I hope you're okay, Austin. I'm doing 10 times better. Fucking awesome. Yeah, this week we had Valentine's Day. There was a snow day, which is like literally why that video of Pete Docter's Winter just randomly came out, because I actually didn't... What do you mean? I noticed you. I said hi. Didn't I say hi? Did you have surgery, Austin? I hope you're doing well, Austin. You know I love you, man. You're great. Austin's amazing. I thought I said hi in the thing. I'm lost on what's going on there, but you should know, Austin, you're very loved. Yeah, that's why Pete Docter's Winter, Pete Docter's Winter should be, was up, is basically like the first time I did it on the stream was because I played with my kids in the snow, and I was reminded of that short. Then we played again in the snow, and I was like, why haven't I edited that? So I was like, I should put it out, and that's what I did. I also have a, it's okay, it's cool. I was there last week, as you recall, but it was good to get it. I don't know. I have like fond memories of that short, so that was kind of more of a personal thing. Although I have a Moon Girl kind of short, literal short, done. I should probably change the name from Movie Crap Shorts, because when I started that, there wasn't YouTube Shorts, and now I make YouTube Shorts, but I don't know what else to call it. So I think that's something I'll get to at a certain point. But yeah, it was a cool snowstorm. It was fun. You know, a lot of energy with 2 kids, a little crazy, but but I was kind of happy to make that, even though I know it's not the biggest thing, but it was cool. It's still confusing me that Pete Docter's name has an E. That is I swear it was not that way, but maybe I just assumed it. But it was like T-E-R, not T-O-R, like being a doctor. Just so weird. Anyway, but you say a doctor. I mean, you would say a doctor. But had a good Valentine's Day. We watched, I think it's Fire of Love, the volcano couple movie. That was actually really interesting. Although I am curious, like it talks about them making movies about volcanoes, and I was like, I don't know what their actual movies are like. Can I watch this whole documentary? I'm kind of... Anyway, I do need to trim this up. I just haven't. Things are always crazy. There's always time, money, all those things. Toy Story 11. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it'll... If I live long enough, I'm sure it'll happen. All right. I'm trying to think. Oh, here's... So my mom... I'll do this before we get... My mom sends these, like, cards to the kids. Cards 4 will probably happen within this decade. I wouldn't be shocked if it did. Didn't. Sends these cards to the kids, and they always have, like, really loud, noisy stuff going on. And so I wanted to show everybody this. Because, okay, first it makes a noise. That's cool. But then it's got confetti. Look at that. Oh, we got to back up. So, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's kind of noisy. It lasts longer than you think it... Okay. So that's cool. But yeah, you got to shake it to get the confetti going. Confetti. Show us some of these cool cards. I think it's cool. Why not, show off a different thing for even though it's not Valentine's Day, it is Valentine's Day. Whatever. It was a good Valentine's Day. Kids had too much candy, of course. Anyway, we have a lot of news today, this week. I have 2, as I'm still calling them, shorts. One is the Henry Sugar, the Wes Anderson directed short film that's nominated for Best Live Action Short. I don't do live action short nominees, but usually, but I was like, why not? I did notice the short compilation things are coming to theaters this weekend, and usually there's like a news report or a trailer or something. But if you wanted to see those, I do want to do the animated feature, the short ones, and I would make a video of all of them separately. Actually, I don't know if I can because I want to see Madame Web. And then And I missed Lisa Frankenstein because of the snow, unfortunately. I really want to see that. I think that's going to happen later. But, what was the other thing? Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, and the other one will be Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity, because that is directed by Jonathan Glazer, who's nominated for Zone of Interest. He's done everything from Radiohead's Street Spirit, but most notably, I think, Karma Police. I might also do Karma Police later at some point, or another Jonathan Glazer video. I kind of like doing music videos because a lot of how I knew about filmmaking and stuff came from music video, and I think Jonathan Glazer was a pretty cool music video director. In fact, when I was taking film classes, they talked about Karma Police a lot, so it kind of feels like I should, but I thought Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity, if you're going to do one, it should be that one. And we have a super chat from, let's turn this down a little. A super chat from Nathaniel Fogg. It says, it was my mom's birthday yesterday. Whoa, happy birthday to Nathaniel Fogg's mom. If the chat could say happy birthday to Nathaniel Fogg's mom. It's obviously a really great woman to produce such a cool guy. It says, but she was in Washington, so I sent her a nice gift there. Well, congrats. I hope you're doing okay. Congrats to your mom, and happy birthday to her. Cheers to you. And Austin says, long day, snow, downtown, recording Carl. But I did put a $200 Disney Lacarena. Is that a poem? What the fuck? I don't understand what you just said. But congratulations. Disney, what? What the fuck? I don't even know. I'm gonna like this like liking and hearting of the super chats is interesting. But anyway, I'm glad. Long day downtown. That's like a poem. It's like long day snow downtown. Recording Carl. But I did put a $200 Disney Lorcana. Confused is me. Anyway, sorry. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not making fun of you. It's more it's a card game. It's a okay. Didn't know that. That's on me. Obviously. Cheers to you. All right. Yes, other videos this week. I might do some more shorts because I am trying to get kind of a bigger thing finished, and I need time to do that. And I also have shorts I wanted to get done. There'll be another Martin Scorsese almost directed, meaning he will have the most almost directed, and I actually could make 8, 9, and 10. I have the material, but I think unless he wins Best Director, which is possible, probably not, but it's possible, I will do more of those. But I'm thinking I'm going to cap off at 8 or 7. And I want to do a Moon Girl. And wait, happy birthday, Ace the Wind Rider. That's awesome. Everybody's having birthdays, all this crazy stuff going on. And then yeah, so I had, but I did have the Clone High one, and I'm doing these MIDI music in the background. I did sort of a MIDI remix of the Clone High theme. I did the Usher remix. I might make a compilation of all my MIDI covers at some point when I have like maybe an hour or so of them. I think that would be fun. I don't know if you guys like those or anything, but I kind of at some point would like to make more compilations of all the music I've made. But the MIDI ones I think would definitely be the first. Maybe I might do just a video that's like 10 or an hour of MIDI, so because I've done a bunch of different ones like Corn's Freak on a Leash. I did Usher's song. I did a bunch of them. So anyway, the two throwbacks, one was for Turning Red, which didn't do very well at the box office, but people enjoyed watching Sophie talk about Turning Red again. And then tomorrow, even though I didn't do Lisa Frankenstein, I don't know when I'm going to see it. I still am throwing back to this just because Hello Al Vasquez is my Bride of Frankenstein review, which is from like 2010. It's very much the older way I did videos, but there's a thing about this video. No one has ever commented on it. I think people did at the time and those accounts deleted or closed or whatever, but there's no comments on it. So I put this in the community post, but if you want to, be the first comment on my Bride of Frankenstein review, this is your chance. I'm going to tell you this now. Thank you, Cornbread. What? Almost short? Oh, hold on. So I'll get to you, cornbread. Or sit around. But yeah, so you can be the first one to post a comment on that, but it will be posted tomorrow in the community tab if you don't want to search for it. Oh, thank you. Bride of Frankenstein is the best. Okay. Cinerim says, is there a benefit to posting multiple almost shorts instead of one long regular video? I could talk all day about this, to be perfectly honest with you. I've thought about it a lot. If you're talking about the shorts from here, it helps, especially when I do more obscure things, and they're a little simpler. It lets me have more time to work on stuff and give people stuff to watch. And also, if I do a weirder thing, people can find it. As well as with the shorts, it helps. But sorry, I'm trying to be as succinct as I can. Cheers to you, Syndrome. With Movie Crab Shorts, it helps me review different kind of things other than movies. And then with YouTube Shorts, because YouTube Shorts like TikTok or Instagram, you will end up being watched by people who don't subscribe to you. So instead of like you clicked on this, you chose to watch this, I assume. Whereas with Shorts, like you're just scrolling and you'll suddenly see the video and you can get more into it. So there are benefits to Shorts, but they obviously... you get less money from them AdSense wise and all that. I hope that answered that question. But I could really talk to you for like 20 minutes about this, but that's a very distinct way. Sorry to get all YouTube-y. Anyway, but I like doing these shorts because oftentimes I feel like On Your Mark, I never did that when I did my Ghibli series. I finally did it, and lots of people enjoy watching that. It helps me, and it helps it helps me, it helps get out there, all that sort of stuff. I think so. Anyway, the almost, or yeah, it helps get, and also like helps me have TikTok and spread the word and stuff like that. Sorry. Anyway, I hope that's not super boring. All right, I talked about all the throwbackies, all that fun stuff. Where are we? But I don't know. I don't look at them as filler videos because I do work on them and they are different things. I tried to do the clips from the review and I did like one. I just don't have the time to do that stuff. But I do like it's like a different research. I don't know. But I do actually, I don't look at them as, I know sometimes they might come across that way, but I actually don't. That's not me just saving face or something. I actually don't. So, or like the Usher one is a good example. I had a lot of fun making that little silly thing, and it's a silly thing. And also, you can't post anything the day of the Super Bowl. So it's like, okay, well, I might as well have fun with it. So sometimes I look at it, to be perfectly honest, as a creative challenge. It's like, what if I have fun with this Usher song I like and do weird stuff with it, and then I can like creatively, I feel very fulfilled, and I put out this weird thing, and it's like, I can go back to regular scheduling programming tomorrow, and on a night, like, what if a lot of people see it? What if nobody sees it? It doesn't matter because I'm just fucking around, So that's another thing I do think about a lot with stuff like that. Anyway, especially, yeah, that one especially was like, I was like, I'm having a lot of fun making this. It's sort of a silly goof, but it's kind of fun sometimes to mess around. I look at it that way a lot with making stuff. Anyway, sorry, I've spent way too much time. Was recording Carl the Collector. Oh, cool. Well, congrats to that person. And cheers to you, Austin. All right. I've spent maybe too much time goofing around. But, oh, no. It's okay. I wasn't insulted. I just wanted to clear that up because people say that. That's all. Sorry. And hello, Medela Butterfly. Okay. So, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Super Chat during the show. Sorry. Very weird. Okay, sorry. There we go. Let's start over. Okay, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through my Patreon or through Super Chats during the show. And I drink amazing Zoya right here. I hope that was in frame. Wasn't looking. But, yes, either through Super Chats or Patreon. And I'll read out your thing and hopefully not be totally silly or anything. Or maybe I will. Who knows? Whereas Patreon, you get all sorts of stuff like postcards. You get my commentary series. You get the results of the movie review vote, which we will get, if you are a patron, we'll get soon. I'm sorry about that. And also it helps me get like my new, when I got my new, I guess it's adapter or tripod stand for my phone, which I use as a camera. It helps me push the stuff out there, promote it. It helps me spread the word. So it helps me, feed my family and all sorts of stuff like that. You talked about this on the show? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. But anyway, I talked Carl the Collector. Anyway, congrats to Carl the Collector. Sorry. But yes, it helps support me and helps me be able to do stuff. And if you like the channel, like me to continue making videos, it's a great way to support the show. And I very much thank you if you're financially able to do so. If not, just subscribing to the channel or liking this video helps in search and all those things and helps spread the word. But if you're just here and you're just like watching a video and stuff, that's cool too. Thank you very much for being here. And cheers to you in general, just for being here. Also, I have the Discord, which if you like everyone in the chat right now, all the cool people, then you can hang out there. They're all over there as well. We have all sorts of cool stuff like the Ask Jim channel where you can ask me questions and I answer them. I think I'm up to date unless someone asked me a question since yesterday afternoon or this afternoon. As well as the general, and as a cool daily question every day. There's the licensed playing card channel, which I was going to unwrap I might have new playing cards next week where I show off the playing cards I'm always playing with. I have Spirited Away ones, which are actually really nice and have held up very well. As well as they have a weekly movie watch together. It's very interactive. You can talk about movie news. You can talk about all sorts of stuff. You can get announced my videos. I post my throwbacks there. All sorts of stuff. Austin Zane Powers do a great job, and it's an amazing community, and you should go there. Also, I have a TikTok, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook. Also, I'm on YouTube. I don't know if you knew that. Anyway, I'm on all those things. They're in the description down below. Thank you very much for being here. Let's do it. Did I say everything? Everyone cool? I hope. I'm sorry about the Carl. Did I? Wait, hold on. Carl. Now I feel bad that I can't. Oh, yes. This is the. I remember Carl the Collector. I'm sorry. I remember. You know what? Okay, so here's the thing about my brain I should mention is I will remember a description of a show. Oh, you're watching Surf's Up. I will remember what a show's about, but not the name of the show. So I remember. I think I've told you about it and forgotten the name, so I apologize. Anyway. You did watch Josie and Pussycats, I forgot. But yeah, if you want to watch Surf's Up for everybody, I would like to show up to one of those. It's just very hard for me to have time to do anything. I'm surprised I can do this once a week, to be perfectly honest. I'm sorry. Anyway, but one of these days, Alice, wham, boom, I'll be there to watch a movie with you guys. That'd be cool. Anyway, not sure when, though. Not sure when. But what was I saying? X-Men 97 trailer came out today. And we got the date, which was March 20th, I believe, unless I'm saying that wrong. This was a very anticipated thing for me because I was a big fan of the cartoon growing up, particularly seasons 1, 2, and 3. But hello, Evil Ghost Ninja. Cool name. But I think there'd been a big question. Is this coming out? What's going on with it? Is this the end of Marvel showing that, like, even though Sony sucks and Marvel and superhero genre is not doing great, Marvel is here with all this stuff, which they very much did this week. But they capped it off with the thing I was most excited about. This very much takes place. They set it up perfectly with the TV. I do not believe Fox said, here's the series finale. As I recall, the series finale was kind of like happened and then someone was like, hey, you know that show ended? And I'm like, say what now? But I understand the context. They weren't going to, make it sound like at the time I remember someone saying it was like a fart in the wind. Like nobody, Same with like Ninja Turtles. When Ninja Turtles ended, I read about it on these videos, but I was a kid at the time, and people were like, I don't think I even knew that show ended. Anyway, regardless, it takes place right after the show ended, and it shows some cool animation with the X-Men. People keep telling me Jean Grey looks pregnant in it. I'm assuming that's part of it. I didn't actually notice that, but you see cool animation. You hear the voices, which are a bit different, and then you see Wolverine and Gambit's on top of Wolverine. That looks cool as all hell. You see a cool bit of kind of thing with that trailer, which I really liked, is Charles Xavier is dying. Spoilers, not really. If you watch the trailer, it's spoiled. He calls them my X-Men, and at the end of the trailer, or towards the end of the trailer, Cyclops is there and says, "You're with me, my X-Men," kind of like the passing of the torch from Xavier to Cyclops, which I thought was actually really great. And then at the end of it, you see Magneto's in charge, much like some 80s, that's like 80s X-Men shit, which I love. That's something I love about that cartoon particularly, is it's very faithful to the comic. One thing, I do actually want to do reviews of each of the seasons, and I was going to do season 1, and I watched all of season 1, and then too much happened, and I had to review other things. I wasn't sure how to do it. I was working on it too long, where like there's too much space between when I watched it and when I was going to shoot. So I'm actually rewatching season 1 so I can have a review of season 1 at least when 97 comes out. But one thing I do think I will say, and I'll probably say in that review, is in the cartoon show, the comics were huge when that came out. And so they had to acknowledge the comics all the time. So I think it's cool for them to do that once again. I do think, I know it's CG and cel shaded and stuff. I like the thing with X-Men, the cartoon, is the design fucking stinks. Like, as soon as I understood what cartoon design was, it stinks. And I think it was like actual animators who were like, I know you like the show, but the character design is not good. Like, no one would design characters like that. Like, I really like the show, but some of the times you're like, why would you? Okay. But I do think I like how the animation works in at least the trailer. Although that's going to be a different vibe when you watch it as a full episode. If I was going to design an X-Men show, or someone's going to design an X-Men show now, you wouldn't design it that way. But the thing is this is a follow-up to the other show, so you kind of are stuck with it. But they would often go off model, often do weird things in that production, which it looks like they won't do. That's a little disappointing. That's something, I know, like, you don't need another member of Knockforce complaining about how cool off-model is. But obviously, if you look at my garbage cartoons, I'm not a huge on-model person. But I will miss that about it, if that is the case. But I'm also like, I want to see a full episode to fully get into animation. Of course, I'll probably do my thing where I do like a short of the first episode and then do a full review of the full season. Definitely, I will be talking about it. I haven't actually gotten to text my dad about the trailer. I should. It looks cool. I'm excited. I wish they had given us more time, because it'd been like for so long, like I thought it was coming out in the fall or something. And I think it just, like, we didn't get a lot of time to know, and I know everyone's hyped, and like everyone I know who's around my age is like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But I know a lot of you grew up with the other X-Men, and I'm not, let me just say, I'm not shitting on either, really, because I'm not actually giving much of an opinion on either, because I've barely seen either of them in comparison to the other one. My kind of dream of reviewing X-Men stuff, because I've done Pride of the X-Men, I've done all the movies, except for X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I guess I'll do this summer. That movie sort of makes me mad, so I don't know. But I think I would like to actually eventually review Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men at some point. But let me get that show done, and I will actually get to it. That's something I've never liked, that I didn't know those. So that's less of a me being an old guy who's like, fuck that. That's my show. When I say it's the best X-Men adaptation, I'm more shitting on the movies. I'm not shitting on the other shows, because I don't know those shows. But anyway, I knew most of you grew up on the others because you're all younger than me, I'm assuming. But I am very hyped. This is like my Willow show, my new Mystery Science Theater. So on that, knowing as well as both of those properties are doing currently, X-Men 97 is going to do great. No, I'm excited for it. I do think what Disney's trying to do with the X-Men is to remind you more of the cartoon and sort of let Deadpool fuck around with the Fox shit and sort of go more into the nostalgia that has a little more, I guess, prevalence. Because the other thing is, versus, and I'm again not shitting on those other shows, but they were not as culturally big as that show was when X-Men was selling 3 million copies of comic and was breaking ratings records, which I don't think Evolution, the other show, really did. Not saying they're bad or anything, or I'm just, I think that might be why. But again, I need to review this at some point. But I think it looks great. Hearing someone else come out of Wolverine's, another voice coming out of Wolverine's mouth was weird. I will get used to it. I'm not going to shit on it completely. I think it's cool. I like that Morph is like non-binary, which, I mean, I sort of always, when I was older, thought Morph was gay, but I'm also like, it's X-Men. Like, I don't know. The amount of people are like, oh, now that X-Men's going to go woke. And I'm like, what? X-Men? X-Men? Like, I don't know. The one thing I would like to change about X-Men is the X-Men I grew up with was multinational, different cultures, predominantly run by women, things like that, at like the Claremont era. And I feel like when Deadpool said that like shitty thing about like, oh well, it's like a metaphor about racism, but everyone's white and stuff. I don't like that, because that is not like New Mutants is not like that. Like it's just like I don't like that shit. Like, let's do X-Men. Let's not do this like, oh well, we can't do too much of that because we don't want people to call us woke. Like, who cares? It's X-Men. But I digress. I'm excited for it. It looks really cool. It looked really fun. It was a nice way to wake up. They did legitimately good trailer. And I'm curious how Magneto running the team and what comic stories they're going to do and things like that. And hopefully I will have season 1 done, and hopefully, this year we could do all 6 season reviews. I think that would be cool. Anyway, maybe you did? No, Morph came back. Morph got killed off, but Morph came back. So it's the same actor? Really? It sounded different. Oh, shows what I know. I know they changed some people and some people died. But, what's this he said to me? Jim, did you forget? What did I forget? I can't hear it. What did I forget? It's the same actor? Really? It sounded different. On the autism spectrum. This is on PBS Kids. I know some of you are in Canada. Okay. Well, that you're reminding me about Carl the Collector. I'm sorry. Anyway, apologies again, Austin. All right. Let's move on to maybe I feel stupid now that. Oh well, it sounded different. Regardless, where are we going with this? Deadpool. He's in the Marvel comeback thing this week is Deadpool. The Deadpool 3 trailer came out during the Super Bowl. It was probably the Super Bowl thing that most people. I'm sorry if I said it sounded different to me, and now I apologize to the Wolverine actor. I thought it was different just from what I heard. But I guess I will see when I watch the show. Apologies to the Wolverine actor. It just sounded different to me. Either way, Deadpool 3. I'm so down. I think it's going to be cool. But anyway, the Deadpool 3 trailer, or Deadpool and Wolverine, I think was the most highly liked trailer of the Super Bowl. I forget what the commercial was. A lot of people complain about how the movie commercials now are just like bunch of clips. Boom, 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 boom. Watch the trailer online, motherfucker. And that's it's like it now. But the trailer itself did get watched a lot. It was, and I want to bring this up because there's some fraudulent shit with the numbers you saw. Those things where it's like, it's the most watched trailer ever. Nobody watched a trailer more than this. Oh, you're wrong. So, okay. The trailer online has 242 million views. Still a lot. Very watched trailer. Cool. But what Disney did is they actually added on the 123 million people who watched the Super Bowl. So it did not have 300 and whatever the fuck it said online. That is not true. And to add that doesn't make sense because they didn't play the trailer in the Super Bowl. They played a fucking commercial that was not the trailer. So the trailer did not get watched. Whatever number they said, 300 million. Maybe it has online since then, but the number that they were touting yesterday, Hollywood Reporter clarified that that is not true. Anyway, I'm not trying to be bad. I'm mean to it. It just don't. I will go through your numbers. And when I heard that, I was like, aha, interesting. Anyway, I did like. That's what I was going to talk about, Cinram. I did like the trailer. I thought it was fun. I'm not a big Deadpool fan. I am a fan of this particular Deadpool arc where he like went back in time and he was suddenly in a 60s comic and I believe a 90s comic and maybe a 70s comic. And it looked exactly like one of those comics, but Deadpool is in it. And I like when Deadpool gets meta, like that kind of stuff. And so I was down for like the TBA, putting him in, I'm assuming, the 20th Century Fox X-Men verse. I did notice the 20th Century Fox logo behind him. I think I tweeted that actually, but I also noticed during it that like not a lot of people brought that up, but to me it was like, why is the 20th Century Fox logo down there? I think that'd be interesting. I don't know. It looks fun to me, but the whole idea of the TBA from Loki, which is probably the most liked of the recent Marvel shows, definitely. I thought that was a smart move. It's also like felt like Marvel Comics, which I think is when this sort of works better. I did, Wolverine is barely in it, really. You just sort of see his like shadow. I do think like Ryan Reynolds selling, the movie as he is Deadpool-ist, and it looks like the fun kind of Deadpool movie you want from it. I didn't mind the gun thing, but I was also like, here's the thing about that, is everyone's like, oh, it looks so dumb, like, it's not, this is what we get for special, fights nowadays. The thing, like, think about, I sometimes think when these trailers come out with big things, people don't think about, like, who's watching it and what's the appropriate audience and how you're selling an ad. Because if you're selling an ad for that much money, and it's particularly tied to the Super Bowl, you're not going to have, even though they make a pegging joke and stuff, you're not going to go super insanely violent and show your crazy action sequence because a lot of kids are going to be interested and you don't want to, you want to be the most appropriate you can, Oh, I didn't know the logo was on the set photos. See, I didn't even know. I wasn't paying attention to set photos. Is that I think they just show that because that was like the least offensive fight. Because you've seen Deadpool fights and he kills, stabs people and stuff. They're not going to show that. So to me, it was just like, this is a compromise. It wasn't the best. I don't know. I think people are weird about superhero movies. I wish people would. Sometimes I'm like, can we just like, what? So, I don't know. Some of the commentary, just like, I don't like how it's colored. I don't like how he moved. It's like, can we just have fun? Like, whatever. It looked fun to me. It looked fine. I was not looking forward to this movie. I don't love that Hugh Jackman's coming back, but it looked like a fun summer movie. It looked, playing the meta-ness of it, looked like Deadpool using the TVA to get into the Marvel Universe. All the things we would want from it. So I think they did a good job. But yeah, it was, Marvel, he's Marvel Jesus. And I think that was an interesting play work because I do think with everything from what's going on with the superhero genre, everyone's shitting on it. Madam Web coming out this week, I think is like the pinnacle is like peak, like superhero, like fatigue or whatever kind of stuff. Especially the Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever, is that they really needed to bring the genre back. And like just James Gunn saying like, well, I'm probably going to make a Superman movie, that's going to be cool, but that's 2025. So I think this week was about Marvel being like, hey, be hyped for this. And they did it. And Deadpool, I think, is good, solid character because people who don't care about superhero stuff like him and like Ryan Reynolds. I'd also say this, the If trailer. No one talked about this, but I'll say this about it: is I I saw that movie that ad before the Super Bowl, and I think it played during the pregame or something. And instead of having Ryan Reynolds is in it, you have Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski, but it's not John Krasinski, it's Randall Park, continuing that Office joke. I know so many people love The Office. They all shared that trailer, and they never share trailers, never talk about movie stuff. That was one of the smartest ads, and not. It's like I get they're doing like that dumb Office joke, ha ha ho ho, but at the same time, if you get If, which we're all gonna complain about how it's like Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends. However, if they're like, but if I sell this to like everyone else, it like they don't need our dumb bullshit. So I was like, that's smart. That's smart. Because I mean I thought it was actually kind of clever, but I noticed it didn't get shared that much on Twitter. I saw it on Facebook from like people who don't share that stuff. And I was like, that's interesting. Smart move. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I was like, he did have 2 movies, but you never heard about that. Let's talk about the rest of the Super Bowl stuff. One is, I gotta say, the Minions being against AI. Illumination are fucking geniuses. I'm just gonna have some water. Illumination and Chris Meledandri are really smart because before he went so anti-AI, which I think is like more, I don't know, I have theories about this actually. But I love that not only are you, you as a company have publicly stated you're against AI. That's great. But then at the same time, you are making a Super Bowl ad that's against AI in our very prevalent AI culture and indoctrinating the kids to be against AI and spending $7 million to do it. That's pretty cool. I got to give the Minions props for that. But here's my theory about this. So Illumination is one of the most successful animation studios in the world. Chris Meledandri is obviously one of the most successful animation executives in the world. But they get like zero respect, even though they had the second highest grossing film of the year. I don't think Super Mario Brothers gets maybe the respect, despite they got the financials. But it's hard to do it's hard to start a new franchise, and they did it. And that's obviously, regardless of what you think of Mario, it's hard. That definitely was a hard movie to make, regardless. But you're never getting the critical respect. And how do you? And he does that podcast, and then they're like, we're going to make a trailer that's against, and hey, Optimus Ribjam, how's it going? And so I think it is sort of like, I actually do think they're against AI, but I think they're also like, but what if we lean heavy into this and actually get respect of people? Because, you can only have moms on Facebook share so many Minion memes. Why don't we actually get new audience in? And this is a way to do it. And like, we can change how people view us and stuff. I do think it's like a bit of PR mastery from a very successful person, but it's like PR mastery that like goes wrong with my own personal beliefs. So it's like, let's go for it. It's like I'm okay with it, but I'm like part of me is like, I think you're like manipulating me, but I'm like kind of cool with you doing it, I guess, right now. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. But I have noticed more favorable reactions from people who would mostly be like, fuck the Minions. Like, I would never let my kids watch a Minions thing, and now I'm like, yeah, maybe. I mean, And I was like, you motherfuckers, you got to me, you motherfuckers. But I like that they did that with Despicable Me 4. I thought that was one of the better Super Bowl ads, to be perfectly honest with you. Then the other Super Bowl trailers, we have the Wicked trailer, which I think most people learned then it was a part. I don't know if it didn't say it that it was a part 1. I mean, the look of it looked okay. I don't really know the musical. I don't understand cutting up into 2 parts. I think that's probably a mistake. I don't think it's like the great. I mean, Wicked, the whole idea is like the Da Vinci Code with me, where it's like, what if Jesus had sex? I'm like, I mean, I'm assuming he probably did. It's like, why wouldn't you? I don't get that. And same with like Wicked, it's like, what if she was good. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. From a certain perspective, I'm sure she viewed herself. I don't know. I don't think they're as like crazy ideas as I'm often believed, but I never read the book. I never seen the musical, so whatever. And I never read the Da Vinci Code. So, but it looks fine. It looks fun. I don't really get the hype around it. I didn't really love any songs. I know Defying Gravity is the prequel to Let It Go, I guess, and stuff. But I don't know. I like Cynthia Erivo. I'll probably end up singing it. But I'm not really sold on it. It didn't make me go, oh shit, I want to see that. It made me just go, and I think everyone go, oh, there's a Wicked movie. Like it should have been, oh my god, I want to see that. Instead, we're debating the look and the that, and I thought it was I actually think it was kind of a failure. To be honest, if you're spending that much on a movie, you should make me go, oh my god, I have to see that, and I don't feel that way. I'm assuming they're going to try to do a spin like they did with Wonka. If I'm honest with them, I like the Knuckles trailer. I'd seen it before. I watched it with Sophie. She seemed interested in it. It looked like a fun show. I'm surprised Idris Elba is going to be doing the voice. It doesn't look like James Marsden's in it, at least from that trailer. So I missed him, which is possible after my X-Men 97 thing. But it looked fun. It looked like a worthy follow-up. Get you hyped for Sonic 3. Twisters, I forgot that I believe it's Lee Isaac Chung who did Minari, directed it, which Will, who's not here right now, Will corrected me. But I don't... Look, I saw Twister. I'm not like a fan of it. To be honest, like it just like was the movie with the cow in it and starred a lady from a show I didn't like. It's like wasn't... I have a hard time sometimes with the 90s stuff, nostalgia, because to me, the 90s was Space Ghost and Mystery Science Theater and Pavement and Nirvana and Beck and stuff and like hip hop. And like when people are like, hey, you know that boring movie the kid you didn't want to talk to because they were so boring and bland and like school really liked? Well, guess what? I'm like, I don't fucking care, guys. I'm sorry. It's like I didn't really like the first Twister. Maybe I'll rewatch it for Twisters. I wasn't hyped by this. I don't think they're shot or directed in a nice way. I think it's kind of bland. So I'm not into this. It's like cool, good for you. Maybe it'll work out, but it's just like I think you could do interesting things with it, but it's just I don't get that from that. And I like John DeBont, but whatever. Inside look, I like Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I just don't give a shit about Twister. Inside Out 2 look cool. Did I watch? I don't even think I watched that. Why do I have it listed? Well, it happened. I'm going to see it anyway. Doesn't matter. The Fall Guy looked fun as it always does. I like that Monkey Man got a Super Bowl trailer. I'm very hyped for that. Everyone I know who watched it were like, what is that? And I explained the whole thing that the Indian government was mad at Dev Patel and Netflix. And so Universal took it on. Jordan Peele got a theatrical release. And I actually think it did a lot of good for Monkey Man because everyone who was like, oh, you haven't heard of this? That was probably one of the ones that definitely spread the word there. And then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I do actually have some things to say about that one. I thought it was cool. It was probably one of the trailers, if we're being honest, one of the trailers I really like seeing in that. However, I do not think anyone who wasn't into Planet of the Apes was hyped for that. And in that case, I don't think it was a good fit for the Super Bowl. Because the Super Bowl is made for getting people into these movies and making you go, oh my god, I want to see King of the Planet of the Apes. And I've heard apparently the test scores are not good from the test screenings they've done. I've heard Disney kind of knows that like they have a good movie for people who like Planet of the Apes, but not a crossover movie, things like that. So the word on King of the Planet of the Apes is actually not great. I think the commercial they put out versus the trailer wasn't as good. I sort of don't think it's off to the right track, and I'm getting nervous about that. But yeah, I did see Usher. I thought Usher did a good job. He didn't say, "Do you make me wanna," which I did, not because I made the song, because I like his song a lot. I thought it started off rough and then slowly got better and better. But it was fun seeing Luda, and as much Little John was in there was a little surprising. But he's a great performer, and I was looking forward to it. I think of the recent ones, I still like the Dr. Dre one the most. I guess if the Rock Nation produced ones, I'd go Dr. Dre, Rihanna, Usher. But I still thought Usher did a great job. I thought he's the kind of performer who really does like a really steady, great live act, and it just started off not the great. Some people were like freaking out and saying it was like better, like the best one. I was like, I don't agree with that, but I thought he did a solid job. We've had some fairly good Super Bowls from modern performers. I don't know who else would do it. I'm not sure why Jay-Z does it, but I did like Usher. All right, so let's talk about Coyote versus Acme. So, right when we thought it was going to work out for this movie, we find out most likely it will be shelved and then deleted. Right now, what's the deal with this? And I want to talk about that and all kind of the issues that came up within it, and I will talk about the Jeff Snyder thing as well if you don't know that, but we'll get to that. So basically what had happened is Warner said they were seeking out buyers, the director was seeking out buyers. Supposedly there was this big screening. They thought they brought 12 studios, 2 actively pitched. Apparently Warner's didn't really negotiate with them, kind of shut it down when they weren't going to pay $70 million, even though if they do the tax write-off, I think they only get 35 back. And basically barely negotiated, and then it didn't go anywhere. Warner's apparently really doesn't want to sell to another studio because they will be embarrassed if it's a hit, which is like one of the dumbest Hollywood things that happens a lot. Like, if you ever wonder why people are like, why did they make a Johnny Depp Lone Ranger? It's 100% because they were like, well, we'll go to a different studio, we'll go to Universal and make it. And Disney was like, no, we can't have a Lone Ranger movie starring Johnny Depp as Tonto. What if that is a hit? I'm like, are you fucking for real, guys? But anyway, you'd be surprised how often that happens. But they did sort of try, but Warner's basically like, they don't want it to get out there because if it does well, they'll be embarrassed. Which again is like kind of one of those things where like, if you think it's going to do well, just sell it off. But they don't want that embarrassment. Some people said they should just put it on Max, which I agree with because of all the publicity. What ultimately it looks like it's going to happen, it'll just be sort of deleted and made a tax write-off. Supposedly none of the filmmakers they're keeping this under lock and key because they are afraid it will get leaked. Supposedly it's on a computer or on a hard drive somewhere, but we'll see. I don't really like where this is going whatsoever, but before I talk about the next thing, Austin gave a super chat that Hologram James Dean should do the halftime show. Oh my god, what happened to that thing? I guess someone, I think in the chat once said it was canceled, but wasn't James Dean going to go to Vietnam or something? Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. Thank you for the super chat. That is like the best energy. I don't know. I hope they don't stop making it. That would suck. But it just seems like they're going to shelve this movie that tested well, that originally had Barbie's release date, that, all these things. And now it's just kind of going to go away forever, possibly. So you did see most people were like, this is, again, anti-art. People shouldn't be signing deals with Warner's. And then what you saw was Ryan Coogler signed his movie to Warner's. Margot Robbie made a deal for her production company with Warner's. Leonardo DiCaprio just signed a big deal to do a Paul Thomas Anderson movie there. And so I think a lot of people were like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? And then you saw Jeff Snyder, who, look, I like him as an entertainment reporter, as a person and his political beliefs. I don't, and he's not conservative, but sometimes he just like gets too much. And he was saying like it was a smart business move because if you're a studio, would you rather have a Ryan Coogler movie or a Leonardo DiCaprio in PTA, or would you rather have Coyote vs. Acme? And he was saying it's a smart business move, although he claims he likes Looney Tunes, but I don't buy that. I just think he should do entertainment news and not do movie reviews or tell his business opinions. And even his co-host on his podcast, John Roca, said like, you're kind of being a bit of, I think he didn't say bootlicker, but he pretty much did. And they actually had the reporter on their podcast, and I will give them credit for that. The reporter who wrote the recent Coyote versus Acme thing from IndieWire on the podcast and discussed it. And he did hear out all the thoughts of it, but I didn't like how he did that. But with Chris Miller and, Cornbread's ringing up, but Chris Miller, Phil Lord, and even Drew McWeeny, who's a friend and worked with Jeff Snyder at Ain't It Cool and other outlets, all being like, you need to not be saying these things. This is not good. I think he was just trying to be attention. I thought it was really a stupid idea. But that's the problem with this, ultimately, what he was saying. I think Jeff Snyder's good at scoops and good at talking about the entertainment news and the way the industry works. But other stuff, I'm like less cool with him doing that. I wish he didn't do that, to be perfectly honest. And I think Marley actually said, like, maybe you should just stick to that, which I agree with him on that. The problem with this is, well, I know the lawmakers keep saying, like, we're going to look into this. They haven't done jack shit. The problem with this is Disney has then taken Zaslav moves and done those things. How many other studios will start looking at stuff that, like, they want to just throw away and do those sort of things? And, like, I do not like the precedent of this whatsoever. I also don't like, on the other end of this, is how are we not, like, we need to be supporting Looney Tunes a lot more. Because essentially, like, I know I should probably be reviewed the new ones more than I did. I do think what we're seeing here is, like, look, if there were, like, 100 million views on the new Looney Tunes, Warner's would be like, oh, fuck, let's release it, man. Like, come on, this is going to be a huge hit. Like, we're not giving them the numbers either. So it's like, I agree with this is anti-art. But I also am like, we need to support these properties more. Because if we are not, we're just giving them an excuse to be like, well, fuck this. Like, why should I support this? Like, you guys get all upset, but then, like, where are the views? Where are the views? So I do think, I don't agree with what they did, and I never will. But I do think we need to support the Looney Tunes more because Warner's is not treating them well because they're not seeing the interest. So I will say that. But I know that's not. Anyway, watch the new Looney Tunes. They're great. Patrick H. Willems did a huge Looney Tunes thing and agreed. Like, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, talk about the new ones, man, please. And I've watched most of the new ones. I should have done more reviews of them, and I am a little embarrassed about that, particularly how this one. But I do highly recommend those. I think this sucks. It does not look good right now. I think if they were smart, they'd just release it on Max. But it's like $70 million. I think it's like, and not only are you spending $70 million on the movie, you're spending another $70 million probably to market it. If you're going to do all that, some people said 40, but that's $120 million. That's a lot. So I hope it works out. I know people are saying this different than Batgirl and Scooby-Doo and stuff because those weren't testing as well and those weren't, going to blow up. But I don't like what Warner's doing. I think this sucks, and I hate the whole thing about it. But it's also like, why aren't Phil Lord and Chris Miller like doing something more active? It feels like a lot of people are, I don't know. One thing I don't like about online is when people are being very vocal about something. But, like, why aren't Phil Lord and Chris Miller, like, getting Sony to, like, buy this up? Like, why, you know what I mean? It's like, you guys are pretty powerful. Like, I'm not reading reports of you attempting to get a studio to do this. And it's like, it feels like there's a lot of people who could be doing more. But I feel like maybe we could all do more. But watch some Looney Tunes this weekend. That's what I would highly suggest. But I hope this does see the light of day. I hope someone has the ability to leak it. It doesn't sound like anyone can get a copy of it. But if they are, I hope they do leak it to devalue their tax write-off because I don't think this should be allowed. Oh, he didn't. Okay, well, the 2011 thing, sure, but whatever. I hope we'll see what happens. So, the Fantastic Four cast came out. So what happened with Fantastic Four is we already knew who was going to be the Fantastic Four. It was like the dumbest thing I'd ever... It's like, I'm surprised they waited as long as they did. Everyone was like, why? What's going on? Maybe there was like deal points they're working out. But finally, the full cast was announced. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Girl, which is cool because Jack Kirby created the Fantastic Four and her last name is Kirby. I don't think they're related. Jack Quaid from Stranger Things, who was Eddie, and then guy who's the brother on the bear, whose name I can't say, but as Ben Grimm. I think it's a great cast. I think I said that before. Blah blah blah. We did find out that Herbie is in it. If you don't know who Herbie the robot is, depending on the rumor you hear, Johnny Storm was contractually. I think there was a lawsuit from the original creator of the '30s Human Torch, or they thought kids would light themselves on fire, or he was signed to another show. Either way, they didn't have Johnny Storm in a Hanna-Barbera version of Fantastic Four. They had Herbie the Robot, and so Herbie the Robot is back in this movie, as we saw from there. Who's voicing him? I don't know. People are saying it should be Tom Kenny or Weird Al. I've heard a lot of people say don't let it be John Mulaney. I'm kind of cool with Tom Kenny. I wouldn't mind Bobcat Goldthwait. I wouldn't mind Weird Al. I'm available. No. I don't want it to be a boring Marvel voice. I think it should be kind of a fun voice. I wouldn't mind Eric Bazooza. I wouldn't mind him. I think somebody like that. It would be cool. But it's not Jack Quaid. Whichever guy. I don't know. The guy who was Eddie in Stranger Things. You know who I meant. But we'll see. People seem to say it's taking place in the 60s. We'll see about that. I think it'll be... I'm excited for it, but it's cool to see that. But the bigger news is it swapped release dates. It's not coming out May 2nd. It's coming out July 25th. And Thunderbolts has been moved to May 2nd. I don't know what's going on with July 2025 because they now have Superman in the beginning of the month, Fantastic Four at the end of the month, and Jurassic Park, if that is still happening, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Joseph Quinn. Thank you. Sorry. I don't really... Kevin James. What is everyone's thing with Kevin James? But Kevin James is Herbie? I'd be cool with it. You know what they should do? Get Jan Gottfried. I noticed, by the way, I had to look up years ago, how do you say, is it Ian Gottfried? And then I found an interview of him saying his name is, because I think he's Welsh maybe? And he says Jan Gottfried, so it's actually not pronounced Ian, which is, yeah, even though I'm clearly not good at pronouncing anything, but I can say Jan Gottfried's name right. But he, it would be cool if they got him to do it. Or get one of the guys from the Roger Corman thing. Or get Roger Corman. What's Roger Corman doing? Anyway, it is interesting to switch those two dates. I kind of don't get that because July 2025 seems real stacked. And I don't think that's a good move. The interesting thing is, though, what we're seeing with summer releases, and maybe I'll get to this, well, just talking about it now, is I think in the aftermath of both Force Awakens and the Avatar, is they kind of noticed if you do a release date right before there's not a ton of stuff, you can play in theaters for way longer and kind of like be number one for like a month or something. And I think that's sort of like what they're really thinking, because that's what worked out for Homecoming. Made a lot of money in August and September when it came out in like late July because nothing else was out. And I think that's sort of the point, is like if they have a good Fantastic Four movie, it can play longer and make more money, and Thunderbolts can just like peter out by Memorial Day and like have a big opening weekend, all that shit. So I sort of get financially, but I think what we were seeing previously, like a decade ago, the beginning of summer was the prime spot. And it feels like July is a better spot because you can have screens for longer than if you played in May. So that's probably why they did that. And we have a super chat from Nathaniel Focus says, if it's a period piece of the 60s, I hope it takes the approach of Peyton Reed's Down with Love did. That was actually, Peyton Reed was trying to do that, like a Hard Day's Night Fantastic Four back in the day. So Roger Corman is still alive, I believe, right? Right? I'm pretty sure. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Fogo. I think Roger Corman's still alive. I feel like I would remember that. But who knows? So this just broke tonight. There's going to be a Bee Gees biopic directed by Ridley Scott. Although I think biopics are fucking boring. And I'm not... what? Oh, both late summer. Good point. That is a good point, Sinram. No, I actually agree with your Sixth Sense thing, because Sixth Sense, like, seriously played forever because nothing comes out in the fall. I think it was Sixth Sense might have been number one until Double Jeopardy had its, like, big month thing. Anyway, uh, but yes, there's going to be a Bee Gees movie directed by Ridley Scott. I don't really like biopics. I know there's the Bob Marley one, which I think Madam Web is doing the Bob Marley movie big favors, because if that was not out, people would be picking on that thing. And I know I was like thinking, it was like, it's not getting good reviews, but notice it's not like this like scapegoat. It's almost like Madam Web's like taking all the brunt force of the whole thing. It's like kind of interesting. But if a Ridley Scott biopic sounds a lot more interesting than a whoever, I don't know. Some biopics are so dull that I wouldn't mind an interesting director doing a biopic. And apparently Robert Stigwood produced The Duelist, possibly, and helped Ridley Scott early out in his career, so it sort of makes sense that he would do it. It sounds actually a little more interesting to me. I'm curious who they'll get to cast that. I do not want Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon, though. So we can ignore that casting. I'm sure people will do that, but I think it'll be cool. The Megan 2.0 has moved from a January 2025 release date to May 16th, 2025. To me, that sounds like they know they have a better movie. I think a lot of people want Megan to be a good guy this time. I think Megan, I've noticed like kids really like the Megan movie. It's basically child's play for modern kids. Although it's different, it's basically like what kids like and stuff. But I think that says a good news, although I will also say, speaking of child's play, that remake fucking flopped in the summer, and horror sometimes does not have as good of a chance in summer, so they must have something pretty good if they think that release date will work out for them. We'll see. What do we have, like 20 minutes? Okay. Madam Web, I want to get to as much as I can. What do we got here? I think we'll be okay. Okay. The Madam Web stuff. Megan could do a T2, I think, Sinram. What do you I think she could. So the Madam Web, I have not seen Madam Web yet. That's the next movie I plan to see. I hope to have a review out next week, late next week. But the fact that like they asked Dakota Johnson, which I would say, I think most people say, like, this is so gendered. Like, if it was a guy, would they ask her that? It's not so much that, it's like her level of not giving a shit. That is like, that makes it work. But she has been amazing. This press tour is just like, nobody's like acting like they want to be there. Nobody cares. It's absolutely amazing how not giving a shit there. This is very much peak, like, we're sick of superhero movies thing. So it is interesting seeing Marvel do the exact opposite this week, where it's like Fantastic Four is happening finally, Deadpool 3 with Wolverine, X-Men 97. It's like, be hyped for all this shit. And like Dakota Johnson's over here being like yeah, I don't know, I probably won't watch it. It sort of sucks and all this stuff. It's a very interesting juxtaposition at the same time. I do think it sort of helps make the badness of the movie accentuated, which probably does help it in sort of like a I guess mommy dearest sort of way. Like maybe if I'm gonna see it because I know it's gonna be bad. Like I'm excited for that element of it. And I also think like people like Sydney Sweeney and things like that. But it has been an interesting press tour. I don't really think less of her for doing that, but I also think like I know she's tried to break out of the bigger Hollywood stuff, and there's not, those indie films have not gotten good releases and stuff. But I hope after this she's able to do that. So Lisa Frankenstein, unfortunately, to do a quick thing on the box office. I don't think I'll do a huge thing, but Lisa Frankenstein, this is a very bad weekend. It's one of the worst, is the worst box office weekend in 14 months. So since the pandemic was a lot worse. Argyle was number one with 6 million, which normally would not be a number one slot. And then Lisa Frankenstein, which I wanted to see but didn't get to because of snow and stuff, opened at number 2 with 3 million, which is absolutely means it bombed, although it didn't cost that much. So there's a high chance it makes money. There wasn't a ton of release dates. Night Swim's holding on there. I see Regal put it in $5 tickets, so I'm sure it's like not decreasing as much as people thought it would. Nothing is really going up. Everything, literally, if you look at the box of Mojo, everything's fucking declining. Like everything is like turning red. Did a little better than Soul, but not really. Dune and IMAX, I think, went up. Is 17th, which is pretty pathetic at 500,000. We really didn't get. I don't think anything. Oh, Hundreds of Beavers, which we talked about before, increased, but lost 2 screens. And what's Four Daughters? What the fuck is? Oh, it's a Kino Lorber. That did okay. And Godard Cinema maintains at the bottom of the box office with $72. At the absolute worst spot in 68th is Godard Cinema. And why is The Pianist getting a re-release? Like, that is, I don't know. I love looking at the bottom of the box office and go, what's going on there? And like, who is watching The Pianist in theaters in this day and age? Like, I don't understand. Anyway, I wish Lisa Frankenstein did better, but it was a really bad weekend. I'm hoping things work out better. So, in other news, well, I'll do this one quick. So, the only Moana 2 news I didn't get to talk about last week, which did come out, is apparently, so they were like, you know, how they're going to do the, how they're going to do Dr. Harry's, you would pay $5,000 to breathe the same air as, I mean, that's not gross. You're just breathing, I guess. I'm assuming that's all. We'll leave that alone. Harry Zhang. So apparently when they did this whole Moana was going to be a show, but now it's a movie, they didn't tell the voice of Moana and The Rock, and they're actually actively trying to sign them, which, here's the thing. If I am the voice of Moana or The Rock, they have such a negotiation and such a good negotiating chip that they have a release date. They've already announced it, and neither of them are signed. I cannot believe they put The Rock's voice in that. I'm just like, he is gonna fuck you guys so badly. Like, you're gonna have to pay him. Oh my god! Like they're out of everyone. They are going to. It's going to work out for those two because they, even if they were in the show, because of a long lawsuit a long time ago, maybe I'll make a video about it, for the Three Musketeers thing that became 2 movies. It's a whole legal precedent. Because of that, they have to sign them to whole new fucking things. And like, man, the fact that they're not signed yet is like, if I worked there, I would be sweating fucking bullets. That's, whoa. Big disaster there. For real. That's especially someone like The Rock, who definitely is a good agent. Like, what are you thinking? Also, okay, so Travis Knight is going to be directing the He-Man movie. The thing with this is the last He-Man movie, I don't even think it got canceled that long ago. Like, it officially got canceled, like whatever was going on. And so this is a new one. Now that Amazon owns MGM, they're trying to restart all the properties. I'd be fine with this if this is going to be in Eternia. And I do think the show and various, like, you always see those toys in Target selling to the well, Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't returning. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. But well, okay, that's the other thing. The Moana live action remake has been completely delayed at this point. So that might not even happen because they want to push it away from Moana 2. I could see that not happening, so they could have a Moana 3 if Moana 2 does well enough. But we'll see. We could have a Toy Story 2 situation where they thought it was going to go to home video. It goes to theaters, everyone loves it. Works out. Probably won't, but it could. Anyway, so but MGM, I do think He-Man's still a major property, but it isn't going to take place on Eternia. It's going to go. I have feelings on Travis Knight, but I don't know. His daddy definitely bought him that studio. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't know. Anyway, but his dad did buy him this fucking studio and bought him a career. It's bullshit. But apparently, supposedly, the plot of it is Adam is going to be on Earth and it's going to do the same thing as the movie. that already happened. I really do not want that. Like, I do not want that at all. It's a terrible idea if they're doing that. If it's on Eternia, and we saw what Travis Knight could do at the beginning of Bumblebee, I think it can be great. He was actually the only director apparently who like cared and like had a presentation and showed how much he liked the property. So it's just why like they just gave it to him apparently. But I do not want a repeat of the 80s one. As much as I like it as a guilty pleasure, it feels like a bit like been there, done that. Like, I want a He-Man story on Eternia. Like, just do that. Don't fuck this up. And it already sounds like they will, but we'll see. So we found out that David Leitch, as soon as we heard he was on Jurassic World, they pulled him off, basically. David Leitch was going to be part of Jurassic, whatever it is, with a script by David Kemp. And then he wasn't. So what happened? According to, actually, Jeff Snyder, supposedly David Leitch was going to work and just be a kind of a shooter. If you take this job, you're basically not going to get to write it. You're not going to develop it. They have this David Kemp script, and they tend to hey, Major Mekizawa, tend to, they're going to stick to that David Kemp script. And why wouldn't you? David Kemp is a great screenwriter, one of the great Hollywood screenwriters. He wrote the Jurassic Park script. He wrote the Spider-Man script. He's a good, like, you would, if you're going to be just a shooter kind of studio guy, he's a great screenwriter to be that guy with. But what happened is, this is a Spielberg franchise through and through. Spielberg runs this franchise, and supposedly when David Leitch came on, his producer didn't like the line producer, who was a Spielberg guy, and fired him. And then Spielberg and them were like, you can't do that. And David Leitch was siding with his producer, and Spielberg said, well, get out, basically. And they couldn't come up with a deal because of this producer argument, and David Leitch and them basically walked away. It didn't work out because of this producer argument, because you can't fire Spielberg friends. And supposedly whoever this line producer was friends with Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy and Steven Spielberg. And regardless of, I'm not being like Midnight's Edge or one of those conspiracy things, I will say, if you are someone who's like, I want to fire a friend of those people, you can get fucked, because that's not going to happen. So basically that's apparently, and I've heard it from other reporters as well, that's what went down. I don't know who they're going to get. I think a July 2025 release date is fucking stupid. I get sticking to that David Kemp script, but if you can get a really good director to mess with a little, push it back a year, because July, like, how much I know, like, everyone in Jurassic World's made $1 billion. I get why you want to come back to this. You got David Kemp, like, you have some good juju with it, but like, you don't want to rush a Jurassic Park movie. Like, they're known for their special effects, and like, I don't know. I just think they're kind of fucking this up, and like, to fuck up a relationship with David Leitch, I think is like sort of silly. Like, if you got him to just be a shooter, I would have like just gone with it and like, give that line producer a different thing. But maybe it was like Spielberg wants to control this thing, because I know he's a little more precious about this franchise because of how he let the Jaws franchise go and be the amazing thing that turned out to be. So I think this is kind of a fuck up on Universal's part and Spielberg's part. But I also think like you're not, it's a bad move trying to get this out by July 2025. Like, if everyone says like if they're going to have a director by the end of this week, I've yet to hear one announced unless it happens since I started the show. But it seems stupid to me to do this. I mean, I can't think of who you would get necessarily. I've heard people bandied about, but I think if you're going to do it, you basically be collecting a paycheck and getting your name out there. But hey, William Ellman, I think it's a dumb move. So, all right. So moving on, Bong Joon-ho. Now I brought this up before, I thought, but since this like happens, I notice like people like Johnny Tuchellos and other people, and not to talk shit about them, I'm way too into movie news, and so I get like that not everyone knows this. But when Mickey 7 or whatever Bong Joon-ho, I think he's called Mickey 7, whatever, Bong Joon-ho's next movie, it was pulled not because Warner's hates it and is being evil. It's actually not. It's because Bong Joon-ho wanted it to premiere at Cannes. To do that, you can't have a March. You can't go wide in fucking March. So it was pulled so it can premiere at Cannes. Obviously, because he won the Palme d'Or and the Best Picture. if you can replicate that success, why wouldn't you? It's only the second film to ever do that. Hey, if the chat can say who it is, I would like to know. So anyway, I feel like I've probably said it before. Anyway, that's a dumb trivia question. But hey, if you know, what is the other film that won Palme d'Or in Best Picture? Say it in the chat if you'd like. But he has announced he's going to be doing, other than that, when Mickey 7 or whatever it is coming out later this year, he's working on an animated film, which he will start directing soon. It's about sea creatures, and it's going to be the most expensive production in Korean film history at $52 million, which I think is pretty cool. I'm excited to see what he could do with an animated film. I'm excited to see his next film. I think there's a lot of cool things going on with him that we're going to see in this year with his new film from Warner Brothers. I think most people think November, I keep hearing, so we'll see about that. Moving on quickly, first off, there's a Best Casting Oscar that was announced. A new category for casting directors would win. The only thing that's strange about this is versus when Best Animated Feature was brought up, it happened the next year. This isn't happening for 2024. This is happening for the films of 2025. So we won't even see this category win until 2026. I'm not exactly sure why that decision was made in such a way. That's the only question I have for it. A lot of people want Best Stunts. I know Best Casting was also talked about, but I'm a little surprised that casting was chosen over Best Stunts, because Best Stunts you could nominate like big movies and stuff. I also think like move the short categories and give them their own thing and all that stuff. But I think whatever. But Best Casting is going to happen for movies of 2025. So it'll be interesting to see who's the first person to win that and how that category is going to be. And a bit of weird contention that I don't understand. The Criterion Channel has a Razzies section, but I don't understand why this is the Razzies presenting it. Like I was a little lost on like just because they're acknowledging the Razzies. I don't know like why this is such a thing. I don't have Criterion Channel, so I don't know. I just think it whatever. So I don't know if you've heard about the Roadhouse remake. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. Okay, we have a few. Yeah, I'll talk about this though. You've heard about this controversy before, but we kind of got this thing kind of just basically spoiled. Basically there's a Roadhouse remake from Doug Liman starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's going to be on Amazon Prime, and supposedly what we had heard up until now is that Jake Gyllenhaal and Doug Liman played it for Jeff Bezos on his boat and said, "Can we release it in theaters?" And he was like, "No." And they've really been pushing for it. And Doug Liman said, "I'm gonna basically like not show up for the premiere. I'm not gonna help promote it, anything like that." And we're all like, "Yeah, we're on your side. You should get your theatrical thing." Until we find out a couple days ago that when they signed a deal for Roadhouse, Jake Gyllenhaal and Doug Liman were given the option. They're like, "Here, you can have $60 million, and you release theatrically, or we'll give you $80 million. This is for the movie overall. We'll give you $80 million, and you go to Prime." And they're like, "We'll do 80." And I'm like, "Okay, but there's no going to theaters, no theatrical." And they're like, yeah, no, fine. And now they're being like, "Well, I know we signed these contracts, and we know we gave you the option, and you sort of didn't do that." But I don't know. It's just so weird to find out they signed a deal for this to go to Prime, and they're like, "Man, Amazon sucks." And Amazon's like, "You signed a deal with us. We gave you the option. What the fuck?" I don't know. I rarely would side with Amazon, but now I'm like, you guys just seem strange at this point. You purposely signed a deal to not go to theaters, and now you're like, "Why isn't it letting us go to theaters?" It's like, well, because you what? That's what the money was for. I don't understand. Anyway, so to me, this is not a controversy. They're just being fucking idiots. It's just you signed the deal, dude. It's not like there was a thing with the strike. Everyone's got so many bigger things to worry about, and you signed a deal not to do it, and now you're mad at them for not doing it. I don't. Good for you. I wish I had stupid confidence like that. That's amazing. All right. This one kind of didn't get talked about as much, but Lana Wachowski directed Matrix 4. Lily Wachowski is doing a movie called Trash Mountain. That's a good way to put it. Weaponized it for goodwill. That is a good point, Cornbread. Thank you. That is a good way to put that. Lily Wachowski is making a comedy called Trash Mountain. Feels like the mountain I get to climb every day. Which is set to be a comedy which will follow a gay man in his 20s who returns to Missouri from Chicago to handle the aftermath of his father's death, including wading through a house full of items and belongings. I thought the guy was a comedian. Right? Anyway, sounds cool. I'm excited to see, much like how a lot of people are noticing the difference between the two Coen Brothers movies, between Macbeth and Drive-Away Dolls, which I'm not sure we'll see Drive-Away Dolls. It'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of curious about this, so I hope Lily Wachowski works out for her. And I'm going to talk about one thing. I'm sorry, I do have to miss some things because I need to take a break and do the two segments, and I want to do questions and all that stuff. Is the Circus Ship, which will be a movie from Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust. I believe it's their first real project together like that. Sounds really cool. We don't know much about it other than an announcement. So trailers, and then... Okay, before I get to trailers, I want to bring this up because I keep forgetting about it. And I don't know if I talked about it last week. Well, the reason I will tell you why I'm not going to see Drive-Away Dolls, mostly because of time, is also, there is a movie, and I don't know if I talked about it, and I need to tweet about it. There's a movie called Stop Motion. Have I talked? I don't remember if I've talked about this. If it's not, I think the trailers, I think it's a cool idea. Did I talk about this? Somebody tell me. Maybe I should talk about other stuff. Anyway, so Stop Motion is this horror movie. It's about a woman. I feel like maybe I did talk about this. Anyway, it's about a woman who does stop motion animation, and she starts getting haunted. I definitely talked about this. Getting haunted by a demon or something, and then it starts taking. She's a woman who does stop motion animation. Suddenly, her stop motion characters come alive and start like attacking her and stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm really hyped for. I'm sorry. I talked about it again. I meant to say this in the Discord. Did I talk about this? Damn it. Well, I'm excited for that. I think it comes out the same weekend. Maybe I will see Drive-Away Dolls. I was kind of excited for it. Damn it. Oh, wow. All right, so trailers. The ones I saw, I missed. Anyway, Godzilla vs. King Kong 2 looks amazing. The whole thing with the power glove that Kong has with the destroying of the building looks amazing. Sorry, I talked about stop motion twice. I'm excited, as you can tell. I'm worried always about my health. Hello, Embla T. It looks amazing. The fights look awesome. I was going to take Sophie, but I saw like parts are in subtitles, and she's sick, so she's not ready for subtitles yet. Sleep more often. Wow, that's no comment. But it looked like an amazing trailer. I'm really even more excited for that. But yeah, with the subtitles, I would like to show her Godzilla -1, but I'm kind of waiting for a dub version because little kids aren't ready for subs yet. But if there's a dub version, I will, even though I'm not a super dub person. It's just, for them. The Sympathizer, which is by the director of Oldboy, with Robert Downey Jr. I think I tweeted on his Robert Downey Jr. shit again. He like his pre-Iron Man, he was a character actor, and this looks like his kind of thing from that, and I really am excited for him playing multiple roles. It looks really cool. It's an HBO Max show or an HBO show. It looks really cool. And then two trailers, Iwaju, IWAJU, that looks really cool. Is African animation studio with Disney working together. I thought that looked pretty neat. I'm excited for that show. And then the Tales of TMNT trailer looked like a really good natural continuation, and my daughter was into watching that show, so I think we'll probably watch it. Maybe when it comes out, I'll do a short of the first episode or something. All right. All right. I'm going to use the bathroom. And then we will talk about we will talk about the wonderful story of Henry Sugar, and then Jamericai's Virtual Insanity, then do questions, and everyone can go to bed and all that stuff. So I will be right back to the end of the show. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everyone who's done a super chat. I still have some Zoya left. I'll drink some when I get back. And yes, I'll be right back. Going to take a little bit of a break. Thank you all for being here. Sorry about the stop motion thing. I'm excited for that. That's my only reason not to see Driveway Dolls. But I think I don't know. We'll see. I really, Madam Web, and then it's like, it really depends on if whose show times work out better. Stop motion or Driveway Dolls. I don't know. I feel like stop motion, like, rarely do I get to do an animation and horror thing. So that's like why I'm excited. And I don't get to do weirder, I don't know. And I'm probably going to get to go to the IFC Center, and it's okay. I don't know. Depends on the seats sometimes with me. And they have good seats. I'll wait an hour for a theater with a good seat. So, Anyway. All right. Sorry. I'll be... Oh my God. Can we go? I will be right back. Oh, there. What? No. Okay. I'm looking stupid right now. But don't I always? All right. I will be right back after this. I'm just going to take a break, and then we'll be back with segments and questions. And thank you for being here. All right, cool. Hello. Sorry. I need to do like a draw. I don't know. I need to make a opening song and a drawing at least for the break. That's what I need to do. Those are two things I need to do. What if you know what? I didn't get the what if RGJ was black or Chinese joke, and it just hit me. Is stop motion for Ireland? I think so. Anyway, I'm sorry I talked about stop motion. Thank you, Austin. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a good Friday. Sorry if I talked about that twice. I'm a little embarrassed, but oh well. But good night, Austin. All right, let's talk about the two segments because we are running. Sorry, that's me just looking at the. Why is that up? Anyway. Oh, cool. Okay, I feel better than Dom. You're literally animating a stop motion. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I think it would play it out. I know it's an IFC thing, so if you have... Are there more IFC theaters, or is it just the IFC Center in New York? I actually don't No, I don't think it's a chain. So maybe it is at the Alamo. Anyway, it'll probably be there. I look like a handsome version of Henry Cavill. Well, let's not be so mean to Henry Cavill there. I don't know about that. You did make me a little... Ace the Wind Rider, could you send it to me again? I completely forgot that. I apologize. And Goodnight Ramsey Ars. Okay, let's talk about Ace the Wind Rider. Send it back to me. We'll talk. DM me with it. I'm sorry it's been a little bit. All right. Everyone sleep well. If you're leaving at this point. So, it's playing. Oh, okay. I guess you're in Chicago. Well, I hope to check it. I'm not against driveway dolls. By the way, it's more that I didn't see Macbeth, and I kind of feel like they're of a piece, but maybe I'll just see... I don't know. It depends, because I wanted to see Lisa Frankenstein so bad, and now I don't... There's only so much time in the world, especially with the kiddos, and part of me's like, should I have just gone out in the snow? I'm not sure about it. And I don't want to, I actually sort of want to see in the theater, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. Who's the girl from... Oh, man, I didn't see Nightingale, and I wanted to... And I liked Babadook. Anyway. Apologies. I know there's not a super chat, but let's get through this. I think my energy's been good. I was a little embarrassed about the energy level last show. Anyway, but cheers to you all. All right. Let's talk about the Wes Anderson directed short that's nominated for Best Live Action Short this year with The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. This is available on Netflix if you wanted to watch it, as well as other shorts. So this was part of kind of one of the first announced things after Netflix bought the Roald Dahl Story Company for $686 million, which is a lot of money. Like the Matilda movie they played last Christmas, this was another one of them, and he made a series of shorts. Originally, we heard that this was going to be a feature of several shorts, but then Wes Anderson decided to cut them up into very short, so you get 4 different ones. There is a book called Henry Sugar. That's a collection of short stories. Only 2 of those were made into shorts. This and The Swan. The other 2 are just like short stories from different... They appeared in magazines and were in different collections. They are not all from the same story. I know some people say that, but if you just look it up, it's pretty obvious they're not. But anyway, what is this? That's true, they didn't, but I think Wonka, that's a different deal or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I will review more of these. I don't know. But right now I'm talking about this one. So this is about a man played by Benedict Cumberbatch, alleged Cumberbatch. No, Benedict Cumberbatch. And he is going through his library, finds a thin book and starts reading it. And then the story sort of takes place within the story of this book. As Dev Patel is telling us, this man played by Ben Kingsley. This has a lot of stars, including Ralph Fiennes, who's then telling us. So first off, it's like Ralph Fiennes is telling us how this rich dude, it goes in the library, finds this thin book. Then the book opens, and then we're basically seeing the story from the book, or Benedict Cumberbatch reading the book. And we see Dev Patel, who's a doctor, is told that Ben Kingsley shows up. He's sort of a circus sideshow guy, and he likes to have his whole face wrapped up with medical tape because he's a man who can see without his eyes. How he does this, we do not know, but he's able to do so. And then he does that. Dev Patel and Richard Ayoade, who is a big fan of Wes Anderson. I believe he made a movie that's very influenced by Wes Anderson. So it was interesting he was there. But they wrapped him up, and he's able to see and do all this stuff. And Dev Patel is very interested in him and learning about him. And he tells him how through meditation and through concentration, he was able to slowly learn these powers and stuff. And he eventually dies randomly before they can really learn more about how this happened. And Benedict Cumberbatch is so enthralled by this story. This is very much a story within a story, much like Asteroid City. He decides to do it too, and he then takes on those things. So uh, my thing with this is I did not grow up as a Roald Dahl kid. I have nothing against him as an author. I mean, I know there's definitely things I could have problems with him as an author, but and I get that Wes Anderson wanted to do this, and I understand if you're a big director and you see a studio is spending a ton of money on this IP, and you're like, hey, I've always wanted to make sort of an offbeat, different sort of Roald Dahl thing, and you can do it. I totally get why he would want to do this, and there are certain people who will just take those advantage of those things. And I think Wes Anderson got to do his own weird Wes Anderson thing. The thing is with this is, and I keep coming back to this. When I was watching it, I was thinking about it. And even though it's cool, it's like it has a Jarvis Cocker cameo. Pulp is very big in my household. We have 2 Pulp posters framed. So obviously it's pretty cool for that. Although Jarvis Cocker, I believe, was involved in Asteroid City, but he actually shows up in this. And I was like, oh, there's that guy. My wife loves Pulp. They're a great band. You should check out Different Class and This Is Hardcore. And all their big albums are really good. But I fail to see the point in this. And that's kind of something that kind of stuck out to me. Is because what is the point of this? It just seems like a style exercise for Wes Anderson. Now, is he really good at doing a style exercise? Abso-fucking-lutely. He's Wes Anderson. He's wonderful at that. But as I'm watching it, I just don't get like what's the point of the story. Like, it's a cool story. And it's like through concentration, yes, you can learn amazing things. And I do believe in meditation, all those things. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what? Like Asteroid City had a point, was saying larger things about like having the story within a story and like legend and tale and play and all those things, and was like very interesting about that. And this is just like being quirky and kooky for the sake of it. I do sort of would like Wes Anderson to have an Oscar. That would be great. That would be wonderful. I think he's a director and a creative person who definitely, in terms of the history of film, deserves to have an Oscar. And I'm sure maybe they'll just give it to him because they sort of know his name and he's involved in this. I don't know the short categories as well. However, I just don't get the point of this. Like, I liked Asteroid City. Like, I like a lot of his stuff. And I just like, this was a fun watch, but it was like, I don't understand the point of the story, ultimately. And, you know, I didn't grow up as a Roald Dahl person, and maybe if I did, I'd be more excited by this. But I just didn't, yeah. Oh, Cinram says, my favorite of these shorts is The Swan. If anyone's seen the shorts, and I know I'm trying to, like, tell me in the chat or in the comments later, if you've seen all 4, what your favorite. I haven't seen the other. Maybe I'll try to review more of these, because I do like Wes Anderson. But cheers to you, Cinram. Thank you for that. I'm going to like, which I guess is the other one from this book. But I just don't, I mean, I thought it was fun and it was fine, but it just occurred to me as like, well, is the point is like all these people concentrated and learn this ability, but it's not like they learned this ability and saw things about life and like things about the beauty of life. It feels like they isolated themselves from society to learn this thing, but then like it's not about how like they wasted their lives necessarily like learning this ability, and like what does it say about creativity and concentration and taking on hobbies and learning these things and stuff. It doesn't say that. It's just like it's just like, look at this amazing ability. I'm like, ultimately, what's the point of that? And I think that's like kind of the glaring error of this whole thing. Now, seeing Wes Anderson do sort of a style interesting exercise, still fun to watch. Like, that's always fun to watch. I like his sort of like dollhouse diorama shit. Awesome. Wonderful. Like, I absolutely love watching that. But I do think Wes Anderson works better when he has a thesis or a point to what he's saying. And also if that point is actually worthwhile, because I have noticed in some of his points, you get to it, you're just like, what the fuck is this? So I do think without a point, it's just a style exercise and an adaptation of a story. And maybe I'm not the biggest Roald Dahl person, so it was like meant diddly shit to me. However, I do think he did a good job with it. It seemed like a good adaptation of the story. I thought it was interesting in terms of like watching the style of it. But I think Wes Anderson is not just a style guy. He's not just about style. He's a storyteller, and I think as a storyteller, he faithfully adapted it. but I think he is better at actually saying something with the stories other than, look, Ma, I adapted a Roald Dahl story. Good for you, but where's the fucking story? It's not here, but it was fun watching him kind of be Wes Anderson and do all that style. It was entertaining, but I think I wish there was a little bit more to Wes Anderson than just that, and this played more like the cliche of what people say of Wes Anderson than the actual guy who's an actual storyteller, which was not on display from this. All I got was Roald Dahl was a storyteller, and I didn't actually understand why he even wrote this story in the first place. Okay, people, I'm getting pretty much everyone talking about this, different shorts. That's interesting. Notification. I don't know what you're doing in Baltimore, but I hope you like it. I'm hearing more Poison. Okay, maybe, I don't know what I'm reviewing next week, so maybe I will consider doing that. Maybe I will make a video eventually of all of them together or something. That could be cool. I don't know. Maybe if Wes Anderson wins the Oscar, I'll review. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing next week. Maybe I'll do Jonathan Glazer, Wes Anderson. We'll just ride it out for a little bit. Anyway, I hope I wasn't too mean on that. We might go a little long tonight. So thank you again, Cinema, for that. That's interesting. Everyone's been brought up. Huh. Yeah, you did. Sorry, notification. But I hope you have fun in Baltimore. If you see a Knock for a sticker or one of my other stickers, take a picture. Yes. Or just have a good time in Baltimore. That'd be cool too. I'm curious what you're doing there. All right. Now, I'm going to take another swig of stuff. These are like good. And I know people at work have these and everyone seems to like them. I'm going to be disappointed if Celia goes away. Hope the Rock's doing okay. I guess the ultimate thing would be, wouldn't the ultimate, the Rock thing, I'm not going to get drunk on stream. That's not happening. The drunk Jim is private time. That's for that sure. But if I had this with his tequila, would that be like, would I unlock something? Would I like understand the Rock more? If I did that while I watched, what would be the ultimate Rock movie? I guess Faster. Because I remember being okay with that. Not Snitch. Maybe if I watched, I don't know. But I keep threatening Oscar nominated people withholding videos behind the winning. Well, I will say part 7 is actually, anyway. It's more of just, anyway, I don't know. It's whatever. That is funny. I guess Martin Scorsese's like, come on, Jim, do part 8. Talk about how I got fired from the Honeymoon Killers. That is probably what part 8 would be. Anyway, cheers to somebody. I don't know. Drunk Jim is for watching an entire episode of something and then speeding up the video and putting it out on April Fool's. I actually have an April Fool's idea, but it's not that. I was thinking I would do another one of those. I don't know who I'd do it for, but that was like, when I first did it, it was sort of a joke, but it was also, I think I was really stressed at the time, but it was also like my vision. The reason I did that first one is because my vision of adulthood when I was in middle school is I'd have like a whiskey or something and watch David Letterman, and I realized like I was an adult and I missed my chance to do that. But you know what? Speaking of David Letterman, I watched the Ed Sullivan Beatles episode, and then I learned, because it was the 60th anniversary, and I work sort of close to where Ed Sullivan Theater is, and I heard apparently for the 50th they replaced the marquee with the Ed Sullivan original marquee. And I was like, man, I wish they did it for the 60th, but it wasn't the greatest episode. Well, the thing with that episode is Beatles perform at the beginning, Beatles perform at the end. There's like a whole bunch of crap between it. It was fine. But then what's interesting, here's a bit of weird trivia I learned, is in the middle they do a performance of the show Oliver, and in the musical Oliver, they do a song from the musical Oliver, and in it is Davy Jones from the Monkees. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. That's really funny. It's like Davy Jones of the Monkees was in the Ed Sullivan Beatles episode. But yeah, they're not in it that much. Like it's it's like if you can find all the songs, that's pretty much all you need to see. But I will say Ed Sullivan does give them credit because the audience behaves themselves outside of the Beatles thing, and then they just like go fucking nuts when the Beatles are on. They do deserve credit. The old ladies, the deserves some credit. But anyway, all right. Cheers to somebody. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Virtual Insanity. Now I'm going to talk about Virtual Insanity, the Jamiroquai classic music video. I'm talking about this because Jonathan Glazer, the director of this music video, is nominated for Best Director this year for Zone of Interest, which I have not seen or reviewed yet. But I actually saw this video when it was a new music video, and it was considered, MTV would sometimes have this little tag before it that said Breakthrough Video, which then it won the Video Music Award for Breakthrough Video. This is the famous video of the lead singer of Jamiroquai, I believe it's called JK, is dancing around this room as the room, it looks like the floor is moving, and he's dancing around these couches, which are moving sort of with the floor and stuff. But it is actually not the floor is moving. He wanted to use the things like at the airport, I forget what they're called, which they did use at the Video Music Awards when he performed, and they left there, and Beck used, and a lot of people performed at that Video Music Awards were doing the Jamiroquai thing. They actually moved the room on the room moved, not the floor moved, but because of visual effects, and they probably had the cameras connected to the room, it looks like the floor is moving, much like how in Fred Astaire did it, and like I've seen lots of people do it where like they'll move, someone will walk on the ceiling, they have the camera stuck on the building and they move it around and it looks like, anyway, it's a simple camera trick. But what's cool about this is it looks like amazing, it looks danceable, it's all that. But when I really went into it and the making of it, here's something. This video is only 4 shots. Completely. It is only 4 shots. Why does this work so well? Because if you think of it, it doesn't feel like it's 4 shots. It feels like it's so alive and there's so much going fucking on, and it's so, you see things moving and there's the songs going, everything like that. This is simple, like Fred Astaire shit right here. Is like, it's wonderful to see him dancing. It's wonderful to see him move with the background and him dancing and his exuberance in the song. And that is good direction. It's what George Stevens did with Swing Time with Fred and Ginger. It's whoever directed Top Hat. I'm sure someone will correct me. It's how those things work, because when I'm watching Fred Astaire dance, and I like Fred Astaire, so let's bring up, or people bring up Breakin' 2, but in Breakin' 1, when he does the thing in the store with the broom and stuff, it doesn't matter that there are a lot of cutting. You're doing the performance. But because the background is moving in such a wonderful way, that performance is accentuated and given magic. Because he was saying how the performer, the lead singer of Jamiroquai, saying he's been performing that way his whole life. And in fact, when he was selling the video to Jonathan Glazer, they went in a pub and they went outside and he did like a dance on the sidewalk. And I'm sure that dance was cool and stuff. But what makes it work is the cool, sets and everything like that. It's the same idea. It's, in all seriousness, is the same idea that Drake did in that a Hotline Bling video. But obviously, the song is better, and Hotline Bling's fine. Morally, it's got issues. But in this, it's like you can see him dance, and he has such a presence in his dancing, it captivates you. And I think there's something to be said about a director who understands when to capture performance. And you look at his other hit from around this time, of Jonathan Glazer's music videos, of Karma Police, which is not that many shots, but you're so captivated by it. But what's also interesting is you look at so many directors who want to show off, like, this is a tracking shot. This is not that many shots. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? And then you look at this and you don't think about that because you're drawn in by the performance. You're drawn in by the attitude of this video. You never think about that stuff. And you're just like sucked into it. And because when I heard him say it's 4 shots and I looked at it again, it is 4 shots. But I've seen this video 100 million times. I don't know if you know what music MTV was like back in the day. They just keep repeating this shit over and over and over again. And like, I never knew that because I was so into it and so concentrated. I don't know what the fucking bird means. I don't know what the roach means. I don't know what the blood means. All I know is it's compelling, amazing imagery that sucks you in. That was the amazing thing about music video, is it's experimentation. I'm sorry I'm moving my hand so much. It's experimentation. It's visuals. It doesn't have to mean anything, but it's just an amazing thing to go into. And it's I just really absolutely loved this video, and I think Jonathan Glazer did an amazing job with it and compels you to watch it again and again. It won Video of the Year that year. Not Best Director, Beck won for New Pollution, which is also a really good video. But the execution is amazing, and it shows a real great director who understands how to use a performer, use the location, and execute an idea in such a great way that it brings you in to an amazing song like this music video did. And I think, maybe this band is considered sort of a video one-hit wonder rather than a song one-hit wonder. But goddamn, did this compel you in ways that very few videos can. And just an amazing, fun video that really captures the performance of somebody. And, I just always love this thing. So I think Jonathan Glazer really showed someone who understands music videos as a form and understands how to do that. And I understand there's a Family Guy reference and everyone wants me to mention it. And I just did. It's fine. But this video is a real piece of art that used everything to get it to work as well as it does. Sidram says, I actually prefer the Canned Heat video. I will try to watch that after this. Thank you for the super chat, Sidram. Cheers to you. All right. I'm going to write. I think I did really good with both those. I feel actually pretty good about that. I'm going to write questions below. I do need to do, I think I might do the movie crap shorts or whatever we're calling it. I'll probably do the ones that are the Oscar nominated ones first. So it might take a little bit but we'll see. They're both happening. So it doesn't matter. No. All right. So the Patreons are first. Nathaniel Foga, I'm going to do you first. Says, what's the greatest movie trailer shown at the Super Bowl? Most people say the Independence Day trailer because that really launched that movie, and I sort of agree because I was there, bro, and it definitely launched it. I also think something to be said about the Avengers trailers because I think those did a very good job of using the actual spots. I'm gonna say those. I can't. What's funny is I don't remember a lot of the ones other than the ones that become a big deal. It's really hard to remember like kind of the weirder ones or stuff like that. I kind of wish studios believed in that spot more and actually made real commercials. But anyway, I'm gonna say that one, the Independence Day one, because it's an obvious one. But it's like if you're watching the Super Bowl and you see the White House explode for the first time, like there's no way that's not compelling. I'm sorry. Austin, who's asleep now, said, hey, Jim, what a great show. I hope you enjoyed my comments on your older videos lately. He has been going back through my older videos sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, Austin's looking at my Academy Awards reactions from 2014. Currently, I'm writing this before I record. I had 2 questions for you. I'm not sure if I will be around to ask them. Number 1, thoughts on the Dune popcorn bucket. Number 2, in Fantastic Four to the Extreme, is the reason Dr. Destructo is beaten by Herbie Fully Loaded also a reference to the fact that Fantastic Four robot is also named Herbie? Thoughts on the Dune popcorn bucket. It looks so gross. I'm like, oh my God. I think there's already been reports of people being gross with them. I just think I'm surprised. Apparently people are like, this is another way for theaters to make money. And I'm like, is that though? Are people, I mean, I like dumb movie tie-in stuff, so I'm actually kind of into it, but it is rather silly. It is rather, and that is not a reference to, that's the first I've actually heard of it, but that's an interesting theory. That is not a reference to the robot. It was just because Herbie Fully Loaded came out that summer, I believe. And Jordan Bouchard, this is the last Patreon question, says, what are some of your favorite villain and hero characters from X-Men, the anime series, that you're excited to see again? Heroes, I think it's like Gambit and Wolverine are pretty cool, as well as Bishop. Villain, Magneto and Sabretooth. But Mr. Sinister as well. I'm going to go with those guys. Yeah. All right. So, Zane Power says, question, if a 2-hour plus historical drama is the quintessential best picture Oscar movie, what is the antithetical best picture movie? Probably like a good movie. No, probably probably Everything Everywhere All at Once, to be honest. Cornbread, somebody breaking news. Both the producer has said there's hope for a sequel to Madam Woman. Dakota Johnson would return for one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny is that news? Probably an 8. Black Saxon Winkle, what's the least known comic character you want to get a movie or TV show? I mean, I feel like New Mutants. Magic, actually, from New Mutants. I think that would be a great limited series. The comic of her getting lost in limbo. If you had, I know I say Gendy too much for stuff, but if you had Gendy do that, if that was animated, if you had a really expressive, cool animator do the Magic limited series, that would be so cool. It would be, I think maybe that one, because I think Magic is a really cool character, like a mutant who also has magic powers. I love that. Zane Powers, did you ever rate the hotness of girls, and what would you say if you would or would not bang them? No, I never did that. Maybe like middle school, but not to like a friend or something, but not too many times did that. Nathaniel Fogel, what kind of stuff would you do when your parents were away? Usually watch movies. They didn't leave me alone for too long. There's one weekend they did, and I think I just watched this public access show in Baltimore called Atomic TV, which is a show they had of atomic books, and they played like weird TV shows and trailers and stuff. And I remember I watched that like really loud and like stayed up too late and stuff like that. It was cool. So usually that. Black Sea Oxen Winkle says, what was the Great Lake Avengers? Come on. Where are we? Okay. When will the Great Lake Avengers get mainstream attention? I don't know. I'm surprised. That would be a fun show. What are your thoughts on Barry Keoghan starring in a Saddam Hussein movie but not playing Saddam Hussein? I mean, I guess it's about stuff. I'm sure you could make an interesting movie about that, honestly. Do you make your kids eat healthier than you do? Yes. Most parents do, believe it or not. Medela, God, where... I would really like YouTube to not... Anyway, question, should Herbie meet Herbie the Love Bug? I mean, I guess technically he could now. Which Knock Force episode do you consider the funniest? I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Maybe... I couldn't tell you. I usually... Maybe J-Dog. Let's just go with J-Dog. I can't think of one off the top of my head. There's a couple that I like more. But now I don't know. It's late. Sorry. What 70s, 80s sitcom would you adapt into a mega sci-fi epic? It was like Space 1999. That would maybe be cool. Favorite Beach Boys song? Good Vibrations. No, In My Room. Same Powers. Could we not be mad at David Zaslav because he tried to sell the movie, so it's not everyone else's fault that we don't get Coyote vs. Acme? I think he could have tried a little more. But question, as a non-American, non-sports fan, I may be misremembering, but aren't there usually more new Super Bowl ads? Do you think that's studio saving on 77 million or the Super Bowl losing views? Aren't there more... what? But aren't there more new Super... They're usually all new. They don't usually do older stuff. I don't know. Do you live in New York District 3? I don't know what that even means. The SNL skit about the Doom popcorn bucket is cringe. I agree. What are you hoping for in Sonic 3? I just want it to be fun, to be honest with you. That's what I'm hoping for. Why is it in Doug's first movie when the characters say Funky Town, it sounds like they're saying Fucky Town? I don't know. Question, do you think... Sorry, Cornbread says, do you think X-Men 97 will get a Spider-Man 98? There's still a lot of dangling plot threads like Mary Jane and also Venom. That's actually a good point. I don't know if there's as much love for that as X-Men, but we'll see. Let's just do a few. What is the cringiest SNL skit you've ever seen? I have one that no one talks about. They have a real skit, and it was Mel Gibson, Dream Gynecologist. That's a real skit, and I'm still like, how does that never get brought up? That's like the most ridiculous thing. Same part says, you're hoping this X-Men 97 show doesn't get all woke and tries to make racial propaganda. Yeah, I'm really worried about it. Let me do somebody. Oh, is that okay? There's only a couple questions. I want to get to them, but I'll do. Okay. American Idol or Voice. I haven't watched either. Yes, magic powers are. Some are magic, some are not. Depends on the power. Can you believe it's going to be 7 years since you became a father? I cannot. You excited for the 2D retro Sonic game that Ian talked about to come to Netflix so you can play it on your phone for free? That would be cool. What theater would you check out if you were to visit LA? I guess the Tarantino one, because a lot of the ones I used to want to, I think, are closed. But I think the Tarantino one. How could you be so foolish to say Robotnik's story ended in the second movie when Robotnik is so clearly important to the plot of Sonic Adventure 2, which this movie will be based on? I mean, it looked like it did because Jim Carrey said he retired, so that's why I assumed. But I guess they're not. So, and thoughts on Mel Gibson's historical epics? I'm not the biggest Braveheart guy, and I didn't see Apocalypto, and I haven't seen Passion of the Christ. I think he's fine, but I think he, like South Park has said, and I agree with some of his direction, is that he understands how to tell a story. I think that's the only thing. Anyway, we've gone way later than I realized. I didn't realize it was so late. So I want to apologize if I'm keeping anyone for sleep. I think that is it. I answered all the questions, believe it or not. I was a little surprised by that one. But anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all, anyone who gave a super chat. Cheers to you in general. It was very nice of you. If you watch this far even later, just give me a comment. Tell me how it's going. Thank you, Cornbread. Sleep is for the weak. That's what I tell myself. But anyway, I think there'll be something out tomorrow. I've been answering past 3 shows. Cool. Sorry, I need to write down some of the stuff because I'm very much in the moment. And anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you everyone who subscribes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you all, just in general. You're all great. I will see you all. I believe we're just going to be on Wednesday next week. So I hope enough news breaks between now and then. I hope you all have a great night, a great weekend, and had a good Valentine's Day. And I will see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to, and all that stuff. Thank you, and goodbye. Peace.